I'm gonna start from the beginning. Little tadpole, okay? Troy Smith from Knoxville, Tennessee. Born and raised, single parent household, all that stuff. Um, Knoxville, there are people besides UT, besides the University of what UT, what is it called? University of Tennessee. Yes, it's more than just that. There, it's actually people that live in that city. All right. So I actually been in the business of banking or finance for almost 20 years. Now I started in 2008 in subprime lending. You ever seen the movie Boiler Room? Anybody ever seen Boiler Room before? Y'all might be too young for that. Boiler Room. I mean, it's like people literally sitting in a row of desks making calls every day, all day. 24, basically just like all day, just making calls about trying to get loans. That's what I did at Wells Fargo Financial. That's why I started at subprime lending. Yeah, look, he shook his head. He been in the business to know about it, but cutthroat getting it done. But that's why I started at. But I always wanted to work in finance. So I said, hey, I want to get into the actual banking part. So I learned there's more than just deposits, and it's more than just actually having tellers come in the bank. There's actually a whole industry of things happening. So I actually became a mortgage, no, not a mortgage banker. I was actually in banking at first, a licensed banker for a little while. And now I was talking to Brad. Brad has a Series 65. Congratulations. Huh? Chad. Sorry, Chad. See, I just make up names on the fly for you, baby. So Chad, talking to him, he had a Series 65. I got into banking, subprime lending, then got over out of that and got into the actual banking part, became a licensed banker, did that, had a set salary. Everybody likes salaries. I want to know how much I'm getting paid. That's what my thing was. And then I got into actually doing investments. So I got married in 2008, moved to Memphis with my bag, my Kroger bag, and my duffel bag into my wife's house, moved into her house. Then she said, hey, I want to live in Nashville. I went to Tennessee State. That's when we stopped back there. I went to Tennessee State for my undergrad and master's from there. I'm working on my doctorate now in Tribeca. Yes. Yeah. Little project kid coming from, okay. So did that. Started working. I got married in 2008, moved here in 2010 and went to work at a local bank here. Got all my license to do that and got into investments. Did that for a little while. But like Tiffany said, someone came to me and said, hey, with your personality and what you do and how you talk to people and all this other stuff, you should get into mortgage. Like, no, sir. I'm not doing mortgage because what I do know, I like my salary. I was making almost $100,000 at that time. So I'm like, no, I like what I'm doing. I'm good. And they said, well, man, I'm telling you, you like that money. You can get into mortgage, make more money. Of course, that was in 2010. I was making some money at that time, too. Make some big money. Before I think things even changed at that time. But I didn't want to do that. I like where I was at. Fast forward, I had my first child. My wife and I had a struggle having kids. We had to go through some things and work through things having children. I know a lot of folks that didn't care about having kids, but we did. We tried to do it the right way. We waited 5 years and all other stuff, and it just wasn't happening. So what happened is we finally had our first child, and my wife went through something called postpartum. Y'all familiar with that? That's a serious situation. I remember when people kept telling me, hey, dog, postpartum is real. I'm like, why do people keep telling me about postpartum? What is that about? Why? Why does that matter? And then I actually experienced it. I said, oh, that's what that is. So when I was going to work, I was thinking about home when I was at work. When I go home, I'm thinking about work. So it's like I couldn't really settle in to what I was doing. So I said, I need to be closer to my house at all times as much as I can. I called my people because what y'all going to realize that in this business, it's all about relationships. Everybody say relationships. Oh, y'all sound asleep. Say relationships. Relationships are important because at that time, it made me think about the time when Stewart came to me and said, hey, Troy, you should get into mortgage. I told him no. But I thought about how can I get more time close to my house, freedom to do what I want to, go when I need to, not someone worried about me actually going to lunch. Where you going? You got to be back in 10 minutes, man. Kelly got to go to lunch. I got tired of that because I need to go be close to the house. So I called Stewart and said, hey, Stewart, man, hey, is that position still open about doing mortgage? He said, man, let me go ahead and make another call. And I got into doing mortgage. Let me tell you this. Now, when I got into mortgage, the people that was doing it already said, you are stupid. Why in the world would you get into mortgage where it's not guaranteed? Because at that time, I was making set money at that time. I was making, when people say six figures, let me tell you, it's important to know what type of six figures. You got six figures at the bottom. You got six figures at the top. I was near the bottom. But the fact is, I can say I made six figures. Making like $100,000, $105,000 set. They said, why did you leave? Because I needed more freedom. That's why I got into the business. I needed more freedom, more opportunity to be able to go do what I want to do when I needed to do it. But then also I realized too, it was about relationships when it came down to doing mortgages, because I had a person that came to me that does investments, a big time banker executive in the city. And I go back to this all the time when I think about it. She said, why in the world would you get in the mortgage when it's not about relationships? There's no relationship there. It's all about transactions. And I learned as I was in it, it's more than transactions. Like she said, I'm dealing with people's lives. Like I'm actually talking to them about doing something they never probably thought they could do. The largest transaction they ever gonna make in their life. I'm helping people actually grow. And I learned I need to have a lot more relationships if I want to keep making business. I gotta be working with people all the time. It's more than just, hey, how you doing, Olivia? Let's do this loan. Okay, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. See you later, bye. No. Olivia, did you like this transaction? Yeah, did this work out for you? It did. Tell me about your cousin. Matter of fact, take my information and give it to everybody you know. And that's why the relationships are important.